In today's video, I wanted to show you some of the chess opening theory that I've been working on that helped me beat my first ever 3,000 rated opponent in online chess. It was in chess.com's latest Bullet Brawl. And this same theory that I'm about to show you is the same theory that I cover in my recent 4-hour course, over 4 hours of content on how to play the move of knight c3 to crush the Scandinavian defense. And that's what we have in this game here. I see the Scandinavian defense. I play knight c3. If d4, my repertoire is to swing that knight over to g3. If black takes, we have d3 with the peon gambit. But really what this is a reversed Charlotte gambit. That's how I think about it. We're offering up that second d-pawn. And yeah, if a move like knight f6, which is what we see here, the engine's going to sit there and tell you to take the pawn with the pawn or capture back with the knight. But I personally like bishop g5. I have a lot of fun with this move. If we see something like bishop g4, we have queen d2 available, and we're not blocking out our bishop because our bishop has developed to g5. And yeah, black has that opportunity to take on d3 again in the game here. That's what we see. I capture back with the bishop, and here I continue with knight f3 and queen e2. Knight d4. Good try for black here. And it really leaves white in a position where they only have one option, one good option, and that's queen e3. We got to keep an eye on this knight. I cover this in depth in the course, but yeah, we got to keep an eye on the knight. And if we go back to d1, we're not going to be able to castle queenside. So we got to play queen e3. If you capture on f3, we capture back. Now, very true. We have isolated and double isolated pawns on the king side. However, we're not trying to play Karpovian chess in an opening like this, right? We're trying to play aggressive attacking chess, get that edge in development, and attack the enemy king. After queen d7, we have castling queenside from both sides. And here you can play bishop c4 or bishop b5. Both of those are very good options for white. I ended up going with bishop b5 in this game. And yeah, I mean, if something like c6, we can play bishop f4. You don't even have to move your bishop. You can, but you don't have to. If black ends up taking, you can now play bishop e5. And this knight is pinned and it's attacked by our bishop, our queen, and our rook. Let's say, you know, you play something like e6. Well, we just capture off the knight. Let's say you play knight f5, trying to get the knight out of dodge. We have multiple options here, the best of which just being queen takes a7. Now we're threatening to take her queen, and we're also threatening queen b8 with checkmate, game over. Guys, this gambit is dangerous. Okay, there's so many ways that your opponent can fall into trouble. In the game here, we have queen d6. Okay, inaccuracy from black there. And here I ended up going with the move of bishop to a4. Now, better here is actually bishop f4 attacking the queen. Here, if we see something like queen to e6, well, we can just capture off the knight. You can't leave that knight. I mean, if you take the rook, we capture back. We're up material there. If you take on e3, we can take with the bishop or even with the pawn to kind of fix our pawn structure up a little bit. And yeah, we're up a piece for our pawn there, one endgame. Going back, if a move like queen c5, that does defend the knight. But then bishop e5, and that knight, again, is in major trouble, right? You can play knight e6, getting that knight out of dodge, defending the queen. But then we have great attacking chances. We take on d8. The knight can't take back because the queen would drop. So you see king takes d8. Now we throw in a check on d1. And yeah, if a move like king c8, we can now continue with bishop takes f6, capturing off that knight. And it's very interesting here. Like, sure, black can take on e3. Black can capture on f6. But at the end of it, we play bishop d7 with check, and black is in major trouble here. This is a resignable position. If you play king d8, we capture on e6. You can't take our bishop back because you're in check. If you play king b8, we capture on e6. And again, you cannot capture back because of back rank mate. So this development even pays off in the end game in these kind of lines. Quick announcement, y'all. For the rest of this year, I'm giving out a 30% off discount code for all 4 of my online courses. I got the Hippopotamus Defense, the Ponziani Opening, the Check Pierce, and How to Crush the Scandinavian Defense. If you're interested in any of those, go down to the pinned comment, go down to the description below, click the link, plug in the discount code 2024, and you will receive 30% off on any of the courses you decide to invest in. Hope you guys enjoy. Stepping back to that bishop f4 position where we're attacking the queen that went to d6. If we see a move like queen b6, well, we can continue the bishop c4, right? That's a very valid option. If e6, we can attack the queen. Queen a5, let's snatch off that knight. Let's snatch it off. And honestly, black might just think they're losing. They're actually not losing. We are better, but black here needs to play very well. If they take the knight, guess what? Check, and thank you for the queen. If you take the rook, and yet again, you capture on a4, thank you for the queen. We're going to take on e6 with check. The queen's going to fall. So here, black has to play the move of pawn to b5. But even after that, I mean, we could take on b5, capture on a7. According to the engine, you know, we're not quite at +1 for white. I'm not totally sure how, because this feels dead lost for black. But yeah, just overall a great game there. So When we have this queen d6 position, bishop f4, very dangerous move. I instead go with the move bishop a4, and you know, we see this move of e5. Now I play king b1. At some point, this is, you know, a practically good move to throw in just to get your king off of this diagonal, just to get nice and tucked away with your king. h6 is played. Bishop h4, g5. My opponent tries to play aggressively here on the king side, but bishop g3, guys, these are the kinds of positions that you want to get coming out of the Peona Gambit. And here we're doubling up on that pawn on e5. My opponent looks to defend it with knight d7, but now we can just capture that knight right off. And following queen takes d7, we have bishop takes e5. Black's position is falling apart. The knight is pinned. It's attacked by a bishop, queen, and rook, and your rook on h8 is also hanging. Bishop c5 is played, but I ended up going, you know what, I'm just going to take off the rook, play queen e5 there, attacking the rook, attacking the bishop. Rook d8 is played here. I don't know why I didn't take the bishop. Maybe I didn't see it. I don't know. I ended up just playing this move, knight e4, within a second or less than that. And we're still winning here. Knight e4, we're attacking the bishop twice now, and the knight's still pinned on d4. Bishop b6, knight f6, attacking the queen. c3, attacking the knight, and the knight runs. The knight tries to save itself, but we can now take on d8 with check, and following knight captures back. I ended up throwing in a check on f5, knight e6, and rook to d1, simply looking to activate. If black ended up taking on f2, that's not going to work. Knight e4 or knight g4, they both work. The whole idea being the bishop's attacked and the pawn on f7 is hanging. If you save your bishop, well, we take the pawn, and queen g8 is a major threat, and black's position is simply lost here. Going back, you know, we see the move a6. Here I play knight d5. Again, if black wanted to take on f2, knight e7, major consequences for black there in a different way, but the queen's going to fall. So my opponent here ends up, you know, running with king b8. Queen takes f7 is played there. Knight c5, knight e7, right? And yeah, from here I just decided to throw in a check. And I now see a tactical opportunity to play knight c8. You can play king a8 or king b8. Doesn't really matter. In either case, I am able to either take off this bishop or even play knight d6. I went knight d6 there just to win that queen, and this game fizzles out pretty quickly, right? We get the fork, we get more material, and at the end of it, it's like, you know what, take my rook, I don't care. The king ends up in a mating net, and that game wraps up quickly. So I know this is a bullet game, but this gambit, guys, this opening theory against the Scandinavian defense is dangerous. I was, you know, pretty excited to play this against a 3,000 rated player and see how things would turn out. And it's just a dangerous line. So there's a 4-hour course available to you guys, 30% off if you guys plug in 2024 by the end of this year, aka before 25. And yeah, there's also content on this channel that I'm continuing to upload that covers this kind of thing. So hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of the gambit down below. And let me know how you think you would do playing this gambit in online chess at your current level. Peace. Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. And just a quick reminder that in addition to the 30% off all online courses sale this month, we wanted to also give a 20% off sale on our physical merch all December. We got shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more on the merch shelf below, and we got a lot more on the website, so check them out and use the code WINTER20 for 20% off. On top of that, I wanted to give a big shout out to my Patreon supporters for the month of December in 2024. I appreciate you guys a ton. It's been great getting to know you, and yeah, I'm just humbled by your support. And if you guys haven't thought about joining the Patreon community before, there's some exclusive benefits that you gain by becoming a member, and I look forward to seeing you over there on the platform. Peace.